So you've decided that you want to apply to the Disney College program. So today I decided that I'm going to make a video about applying to the Disney College program since I'm about to start my program. I think the countdown, we're 11 days away. We are in the home stretch of moving to Disney World and I can't be more excited. I'm about to get my itinerary on Monday apparently, find out my work location, everything. I'm super excited. So I just have a couple tips and tricks to help you get through your application season and process and all that kind of stuff. I figured since in the next couple weeks, I want to say, they said mid to late January is when the new application is going to open up. So I just wanted to give you a couple tips to help you get through that. Side note, it's snowing outside and it's beautiful. I didn't have to go into work today, which I drive 45 minutes to work every day. So not having to drive 45 minutes and actually being home during the day was beautiful. I got to sleep in. I can't be more excited. But anyways, so applying to the Disney College program, the application is usually open for about, I want to say a month and a half to 2 months, and then you'll find out they close the application, and then I believe the deadline after that to hearing is within 2 or 3 weeks. So for me, my season, I've actually applied 2 times before. The first time I applied, I unfortunately did not make it through my web-based interview, so I was NLIC'd, and then the second time I made it all the way through and I was accepted. So the applications for us for the spring 2018 season opened up in August and they closed end of October, and then the deadline to hear was in November, mid-November, just to give you a little bit of insight onto how it goes. Alright, so let's talk about the application itself. The application itself is all through an online system. You just go onto the Disney College Program website, or Disney Careers / Disney College Program. You'll find it, I promise. I'll even leave a link in the description to the application for you guys. So you log on, and it's just your general application. It's pretty much anything that you would fill out on Disney's website for any other job. So what I actually did before I even applied was I went in to apply for another Disney job, and I was able to access my dashboard, which is, your dashboard is essentially what's going to fill in most of your application, and then the Disney College Program application itself has specific things that you won't be able to see until that application is live, like roles and what term you want to apply for, and what if you want to do Disney World or Disneyland, all of that kind of stuff. So I'm just going to give you a couple of, that was gross. So I'm just going to talk about the application a little bit. In the application, like I was saying, it's really just all your basic info. It's going to ask you your name, how old you are, if you're currently taking college classes, if you just graduated, all of that kind of stuff. And then it's going to ask you, like I was saying, the Disney College Program specifics, which are to ranking your roles. There's 21 different roles as of my season. Disney can add some, Disney can take some away, so just be prepared for that. And then you add in your work experience, which isn't Disney College Program specific, so honestly you could do that now if you wanted to. And then you do your, I think you just submit it from there. Yeah. So anyway, the application, when I did my work experience, there were 5 slots to put in different work experiences. You can also put in different volunteer experience, and the way that I think about it is to put in work experience that's going to showcase how well you can do at a different job. So if you only worked at a job for 2 months and then you got fired, I don't recommend putting that on there for your work experience. But if you've never worked at a job before, don't worry, you can still get into the Disney College Program with no work experience. There's people who get in with tons of work experience, and then there's people who get in with no work experience. So just put in the application how you feel confident and what you feel will help you. But when you fill out your work experience, make sure that you're staying consistent. Make sure, and by consistent I mean stay in the same tense throughout all of your work experiences. So if you're gonna say that you were managing a store, make sure that through the rest of it that you were using cleaning products instead of I managed a store and I was using cleaning products kind of thing. Stay consistent with your tenses and everything, and use Disney's 4 key words a lot. Don't use them too much, but just try and integrate them into there. Their safety, show, courtesy, and efficiency. From what I understand, the way that these applications are looked through in this first stage of just submitting that, apparently it's just through like a computer system that'll quick run through them. Not quickly, but it searches for keywords, grammatical mistakes, all of that kind of stuff. And then from there, apparently that'll move you onto your WBI, or it'll move you into what's now called applied, but was formerly known as submission. So then also with your application, when you go to rank your roles, please do not put interest in a role that you do not think that you would want to do. It would ruin your experience, that you have some kind of a medical accommodation that needs to be met and you know that you can't stand in the sun. I mean, every medical accommodation can be met. They have forms on that like way later down the road once you get accepted and you're filling all of that out. But roles that you know that you don't want to do, you know that you can't perform, do not put interest in them, because any role that you put on your application that with high interest, moderate interest, or low interest, you can be given. I have tons of friends that I've made before starting that got a role that they put low interest in. I was lucky enough to get one of my top roles, but that's not to say anything really. You can get placed in any role that you put interest in. So going off of that too, they also say that if you were to, like, the more roles you put interest in, the higher of a chance that you get to get into the program. What they mean by that is that if you were to put anywhere from high, moderate to low interest in 20 out of the 21 roles, then you would be considered for 20 out of the 21 roles, as opposed to if you only put interest in one, then you're only being considered for that one role, and if they don't feel that you're a fit for that role, then unfortunately this season wouldn't be your season to get into the program. So from there, pretty much, I also recommend having a peer, having your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister, someone that you're close to reading through your application, just because you might not see some grammatical mistakes that you made and all that kind of stuff. It's always good to have somebody look over something that you're about to submit, especially for if your dream and your goal and you're applying to the Disney College program. So just have someone look over it. I'm reading off of my computer, by the way, just so I don't miss anything. Alright, so then you submit your application, and from there, I also recommend, this is just something that I did because I am a worry ward. I will worry till the cows come home. It's bad. So I submitted my application late at night, about 2 weeks after applications dropped, and at that point I turned off my phone, I went to sleep. I just didn't want to obsess over if I got this email or if I got the WBI right away. It just wasn't anything that because knowing me, I would have stayed up all night constantly refreshing my email, and that's just not good. It was in the middle, I was going through RA training and all that kind of stuff. I couldn't stay up all night. So just try and like disconnect yourself, whether you submit it in the middle of the day, like go do something, go preoccupy your time with something else. Don't obsess. Everybody moves through this whole process differently. I have friends who submitted their application first day, they were pulled out of apply like 2 weeks later, and then they didn't hear until the last week that they got in. So everybody goes through this whole process in their own like time and everything like that. So don't be discouraged when you're logging onto the Facebook page and you're seeing acceptances and you went through everything and you don't hear until a month after you did your phone interview. Just try not to obsess over it. I know it's really hard. Honestly, I was calling my dad every day, like, I just want to know if I got in. And he was like, just calm down, it'll happen when it happens. So just let everything happen, trust in the process. So then when you get the email for your WBI is a web-based interview, and it's essentially an online personality test. The best information that I could give you about the WBI is probably make sure that you have the time to take it. I would set aside 45 minutes to an hour. It really only took me about a half hour to complete it, but you don't want to not set enough time for it and then have to rush through everything and then not passing. So at the end of your WBI, you'll find out right then and there whether you passed it or you failed it. The first time I applied, I failed it, and I got that NLIC email. NLIC is no longer in consideration, if you didn't know, and I got that email right away. I was crushed. It sucked. I couldn't wait for the applications to come out again, and that was in March of 2017, and I didn't get to apply again until September of 2017. So you could imagine how eager I was to apply. But anyway, so going through your WBI, there's a couple different sections through there, and they're going to ask you questions. They're going to word the questions really weird too. Like, I am almost always never late to work, and then it's going to give you strongly agree, agree, neutral, strongly disagree, and disagree as your answers. And when I was going through my application process, I was looking for videos that would just tell me, not necessarily how to answer it, but just something, because I thought when I was doing it the first time, I was like, yes, cocky, like I know everything. But I also am the kind of person, like I was saying, I'm a worrywart. So when it would ask me the question about being late to work, Disney wants someone who's confident. Disney will factor in for themselves all of these weird factors that could happen. Like, I was thinking, well, sometimes I'm late to work because I get stopped at a red light, or like this could happen, and then you hit neutral or disagree, and then you're not being confident enough in your own answers and your own abilities, and you end up failing your WBI. So one of my biggest tips for the WBI is try to use strongly agree and strongly disagree a lot. There's room for agree, disagree, and neutrals, but like I was saying, Disney's looking for that confident candidate. And from there, for that confident candidate, and from there they're just looking, like you'll hear, they're just looking for their ideal Disney candidate, but at the same time, this is just another way for them to weed through the 40,000 applicants that are applying for about 5,000 spots in the Disney College program. So another big thing with the WBI is be consistent in your answers. So the other thing that they're trying to do, they're not only looking for someone who's confident, but they're looking for someone who's consistent, and that also goes with your application. So what I mean by consistent is, so they'll give you a question like, I'm almost never late to work, and you answer strongly agree because you're never late to work. Then later on, probably about 10 or 15 questions later, you'll get a question like, I am always on time, or I am always late. They'll rephrase these questions over and over to try and see if you are being consistent with your answers. So if you hit that you're strongly agree for being on time every day to work, and then they ask you a question if you're sometimes late or whatever, and you change your answer, then they're going to see that you're not being consistent. So just take the time to read the questions through. Don't rush through the questions. Make sure you know. I promise you that if you were just to sit back and just read the question and know what they're asking you and answer honestly that way, it'll do a whole heck of a lot better for you than if you were to quick read through it and write the answer that you think you should do. So at the end of your WBI, like I was saying before, you're going to get an answer immediately. Either schedule your phone interview, or unfortunately you are no longer in consideration for the Disney College program blank blank season, which sucks sometimes. When I was NLIC'd, I sat there and I was just like, I can't believe they didn't give me a phone interview, and they can't see who I actually am. They're using this stupid web thing, and this is nothing against Disney at all. It was just the feelings that I had in the moment of being frustrated that I was NLIC'd and I had to wait another 6 months, because if you do not pass your WBI, that stays in their system for 6 months, so you can't apply or take another WBI for 6 months after that. So that's why I didn't start my application until 2 weeks in. I waited like 6 months and 1 day, I think, and then I did my WBI. So then when you get the thing that says schedule your phone interview, you go onto the website. They'll send you another email that gives you, you select your time zone, you select the day. They give you about a window. I had a window of 3 days. It was a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I chose mine for Sunday, and I was so stressed the whole time that I had chosen the wrong day, or the wrong, that I wrote it down wrong, or the wrong time zone, and that I was going to get a phone call and I wasn't going to be able to answer it. It was a crazy day for me, but we got through it, clearly. So now we'll just talk about the phone interview a little bit. So one of the biggest things, really, for the whole application process, but most importantly your phone interview, I would say, is to prepare for it. Don't prepare too much so it seems like you're a robot when you're answering questions, but don't go into it not knowing what roles you marked interest in and what the roles entail. What I did the night before my phone interview, I actually went through my application itself and I copied and pasted my work experience boxes into a Word document, and then I also listed all of the roles that I had put high interest, moderate interest, and low interest in. So, and then I went on to Disney College. Then I went onto the Disney College Program website and I looked at the role descriptions and I added a couple bullet points under each role that I had marked interest in. A couple bullet points of what that role entails. In case I was asked a question about it, I kind of knew, or if they asked me why I wanted to do that role, or I just was prepared. You can go online and you can find sample interview questions either for the phone interview that Disney gives you or really any business phone interview. They're pretty much standard. They ask you certain questions. I mean, obviously the Disney one's going to have some pretty stock Disney questions in there. They're going to ask you some questions about the roles that you marked interest in. Like if you marked interest in a character attendant role, they're going to ask you if you were attending Stitch and Stitch had to go take a break, what would you tell a child in line where Stitch was going, and then you would answer from there. Like, Stitch had to go meet up with Nani and Lilo for lunch or something like that. Like, so they'll ask you questions like that that are role specific, but again, they're going to ask you your stock interview questions that you really get for anywhere. Another really big thing for me that I not only was told, but I love this and I will continue to tell people every time that they tell me that they're getting ready for an interview or a phone interview or something, is to just, like, for me it's a look good, feel good kind of thing. I got up, my interview was actually like 5:30 in the afternoon, but I had come from work, so I went back to my room and I actually got dressed. I wore business casual. I actually got in a business casual outfit and I did my hair. So I just felt good about myself and I looked good. I could feel confident, and then I went to the place that I was doing my phone interview, and from there it's just, even if your phone interview is at 10 a.m. or 8 a.m. or whatever time it is, just get up, get dressed in something that you feel good in yourself, you feel confident, because they'll be able to tell over the phone. They can tell if you're nervous, they can tell if you just are tired. Make sure that you get up. If it's an early phone interview, get up and make yourself breakfast. Just make sure you're awake and you feel good and all that kind of stuff. Another thing that I recommend is have someone sit there with you, or if you don't have someone who can sit there with you, record your phone interview. Not necessarily, you don't have to video yourself, but you can just do a voice memo on your phone, just so it'll calm your anxiety after your phone interview. I know up until I got accepted, every day I went from my phone interview was okay and it went pretty well to my phone interview was so bad, I'm never getting in, Disney doesn't want me, I stuttered too much, I said I said all the time, and then the next day I got accepted. So you can go back and you can listen to it and you can just know that you didn't suck and that you did the best that you could and you smiled and you sounded confident and you were able to answer the questions. So yeah, I had someone sit in the room with me, so I would always be no, I sucked, and they were no, you didn't suck. It actually went really great, so I recommend that. I also recommend, I had on a piece of paper in front of me, with all of the roles and everything, I had made a big, if I have a picture of it, I'll put the picture in here, but I had put a big header on it. Not only had my name, my information, basic information. I have a tattoo. I wrote approximately the size of my tattoo and the location, just so I didn't stutter, but I also had on there the greeting that I was gonna say, or what I wanted to say when I answered the phone. Mine said, "Hello, good evening, this is Keely," on there, and that's actually how I ended up answering the phone. But answer the phone however you feel confident and okay and cool answering the phone. It's really up to you, but I just feel that it's really important to address yourself. I mean, just so they know that when they answer the phone that that's who they're speaking to. And I also put on the top of that page in really big letters, it was actually in Disney font too, it said smile, because one of the most important things that you can do while taking your phone interview is smiling. They can tell. Anyone can tell when you are having a conversation with someone and you're smiling, or if you're having a conversation and you're just yeah, my name's Keely, I want to do the Disney College Program, or yeah, my name's Keely. There's just a difference. So definitely smile through your whole phone interview. I know it's going to be hard. I know people get nervous. I was nervous. I was shaking the whole time. I got off my phone and I hung up the phone, and I just had, honestly, I had no clue what just happened. And then they say, like, your phone interview should be about 17 or 18 minutes to 25 minutes to be a good phone interview. Like, don't get caught up in that. I also have friends and know people who got accepted whose phone interviews were 10 minutes. And I know people who got accepted whose phone interviews were 30 minutes. So don't think into how long your phone interview was. Like, just take that out of your thinking process. Just go through the application, go through the web-based interview, go through the phone interview, and just trust in everything that's going on. But honestly, that's really all I have to say about tips and tricks wise. I know this video might be on the longer side, maybe not, but just remember to be confident. Don't be cocky, but be confident. Just trust in everything that's going on. But really, those are the two biggest, and be yourself. Make sure that you're confident, you're trusting in everything that's happening, and you are being true to yourself, because it's so easy to get so caught up in being the person that you think that Disney wants you to be, and really Disney wants so many different people from so many different backgrounds that can represent people from all over the world to work for their company. They don't want people who are, like, they want some people who are quiet, they want some people who are peppy, like, they want people from all over. So don't just answer the phone and be fake, and don't be that person who you really are. But really, those are the main three things that if you were to take away from this video. Just like I was saying, be confident, be true to yourself, and trust in everything that's going on. You can also follow the recruiters on Twitter. I can leave their Twitter handles down below too. They're always giving updates on what's going on. Like right now, I'm checking my Twitter all the time because they're talking about itineraries and arrivals, and I arrive in 9 days, or not 9 days, 10 days maybe. Something right around there. And I also just wanted to say that all of these tips and tricks are coming from my application season and from what I learned from people's seasons before, and different videos that I had watched and different things that people had told me. So if something's different on the application this season, don't come after me. Disney can change that application and add roles and take away roles as they please. But please, if they do change something, feel free to let me know, and I can make an updated video about things that they've changed on it. But yeah, I just wanted to say thank you for watching, and I wish you the best in your application process. And feel free to message me, feel free to leave a comment down below if you have questions or when you get accepted or anything. But thank you so much for watching, and definitely subscribe to see my check-in and everything else going forwards. My next video will hopefully be before check-in. Maybe I'll do like an itinerary reaction or something like that. But if not, definitely look out for my videos in the future. Thank you so much. Bye!